What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 1995 film Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Renderforest.com.
TCM: The Next Generation was both written and directed by henkel, starring Renee Zelwegar, Matthew McConaughey, and Robert Jacks as Leatherface.
Are you having fun yet?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. If looks could kill, he wouldn't need a chainsaw.
So our story begins with Jenny at the prom. That's Renee Zelwegar's character. So Jenny's at the prom with her date Sean, and they're there with her friend Heather and her date Barry. We quickly find Heather looking around for Barry. She can't find him. She seems to have misplaced her boyfriend. One of the teachers says that she sees them, or that she has seen him, and she says, "I thought you guys broke up," which is kind of a hint of things to come. So she goes back, she looks inside, she finds Barry, and Barry's in there making out with another girl. Needless to say, Heather's not real crazy about this. She runs out the door, she jumps in Barry's car, she starts the car, and she starts to take off, but she does stop and let Barry in the car. Barry starts giving her a hard time, when up from the back seat jumps Renee Zelwegar's character Jenny and her boyfriend Sean. They were in the back seat making out. Now all four of these guys are racing away from the prom. We quickly learn that this is Barry's father's car, so Barry is very concerned with the way that Heather's driving. Heather drives into an intersection. She gets into a minor fender bender. It's nothing major, but she starts pressing down the road. She doesn't stop. She just keeps going. There's no mention of this, that she just drove away from an accident, but whatever. Apparently, Heather is a terrible driver because not too far down the road, she gets into another accident. But this time, the accident's more serious. There's a guy in another car. He seems to be hurt, and their car is pretty banged up. So they get the guy out of the car. He actually says something. I think he says he's all right or he's not hurt, and then he passes out and falls on the ground. So Jenny grabs a flashlight and says that she's going to go look for help. Heather and Barry go with her. So those three walk away and they leave Sean with the guy who was hurt in the accident. So our three characters, So our three characters, Jenny, Heather, and Barry, after they walk about a mile down the road, they come across an office. They go inside of this office, and this is where we meet a character named Darla. Darla asks a few questions, finds out they were in an accident, finds out they were about a mile down the road, and she says, "Oh, no, I'll call my husband." She calls a guy by the name of Vilmer, who is Matthew McConaughey's character, and lets him know that there was an accident about a mile down route, whatever in the world it was, and he says that he'll go down there for him. So Darla hangs up the phone, and apparently Vilmer's on his way. The next thing you see is everybody sitting in this office and a rock comes flying through the window. Darla takes it upon herself to jump up, run over to the window, pull her shirt up and flash whoever it is outside. Not bad, but yeah, she's weird. That ain't normal. So now Jenny, Heather, and Barry are going to hit the bricks. They're going to head back and meet up with Vilmer in his tow truck back where the accident was. So along the way, Heather and Barry decide to go off in another direction, and Jenny heads back to the accident by herself. Heather and Barry, after walking along for a little while, they come across a house. They go up to this house, and they knock on the front door, but nobody answers. And they probably should have left it at that. So after they get no answer, Heather seems frustrated. She kicks the bottom of the front door, and Barry says, "I'm just going to run around back and see if there's anybody in the backyard." They picked the wrong house. Mistake. So now the story jumps back over to Jenny. While she's walking along back to where the accident took place, tow truck pulls up behind her. All right. And this is where we meet Vilmer, portrayed by a very young Matthew McConaughey. Jenny almost immediately feels like something's not right here. He's making her very uncomfortable, and he is continuously telling her to take a look in the back of this truck. Eventually, he just grabs Jenny by the back of the head and jams her face in the back window, and she sees her boyfriend Sean and the guy that was in the accident hanging in the back of this truck.
Ow! Have a look at that. Look at that. How about that? Who's that? Who's that? Huh?
God.
Somehow she remains strangely calm, and she realizes that the passenger door is not shut all the way, so she just makes a break for it and jumps out of the moving truck. So she runs off into the woods, and he makes chase. He chases her down in the woods, and she gets herself tangled up in a bunch of trees, and while she's there, Vilmer gets out of the truck and says, "You sure that's what you want to do? Okay, live and learn." He gets back in his truck, and he just drives away.
Okay. That's what you want. It's up to you. Live and learn.
I wonder what he meant by that. And that's that. I don't think that I should provide you with any more plot details or spoilers for this movie. So first, let me give you a few things that I thought were a bit strange and really not all that great about this movie. One of the car crashes, the second car crash that happens at the beginning of this movie, you see the two cars crash in an intersection, and you can see the guy driving the other car that our main characters are not in. When they collide, he's clearly sitting up straight, looking at them. The guy's fine. When they jump out of their car and they go over to look in the car, he's got his head on the steering wheel and the windshield has been smashed. This was very bad editing, and they should have clipped that thing out of this. If you take your time to watch this movie, it is blatantly obvious what I'm talking about. You'll see. And there's another scene in this movie where the Leatherface character is chasing Renee Zelwegar through the house, and he goes up to the door and he breaks through the top of the door, like the little insert panels in the door, and you can see them bending and flexing like it's blatantly obvious that they're cardboard. He then chases her up on the roof. When he's up on the roof, he is knocking over the chimney, and it literally is falling. You see the chimney, and then you see the bricks falling brick by brick by brick, like they were never cemented together. There was no mud in there. And then they flash back to the chimney, and it's all whole again. Immediately after this, Renee Zelwegar spots the electric wire. She climbs up the antenna, which obviously that couldn't happen either. She climbs up the antenna, jumps off the antenna onto the electric that's running from the pole to the house. She grabs a hold of this and does not get shocked. And then Leatherface takes his chainsaw and cuts the electric wire to make her fall, and he does not get shocked. All right, so now push all that stuff to the side, and this actually wasn't that bad of a movie. It was actually kind of entertaining. It was fun. It was campy. It was, I have to assume, everything that the writer and director expected this to be or wanted this to be. This movie was really out there, I'm not going to lie to you. Matthew McConaughey was so over the top, and Renee Zelwegar was so calm and subdued. It was just a weird combination. The Leatherface character was out there. The brother in this movie was also weird and out there. He's like quoting people. It was just overall a very, very strange movie. The next thing I got to move on to is the Leatherface character himself. This is probably, for me, the most unforgivable. All that other stuff makes the movie campy and fun, in my opinion. It's all forgivable stuff. Whatever. It is what it is. This part, for me, is a lot less forgivable. The Leatherface character himself looks god-awful in this movie. He looks like the mask that he has on that is supposed to be made out of human skin looks like a mask. It does not look like human skin in this movie. This right here looks more like human skin than the mask that Leatherface has on in this movie. It's all solid, ridiculous. It looks like a rubber mask. I mean, that's what it is, and that's what it looks like. And on top of that, he's wearing like a Billy Ray Cyrus mullet. And that's the Leatherface that you have for the first 2/3 of this movie. When you get towards the end of this movie, you see like a little montage of Leatherface putting lipstick on. He is now dressed like a drag queen. He's got on a dress, he's got on lipstick, and he's got on like a woman's head. And it's just, the whole Leatherface character in this movie, for me, was kind of ridiculous. And then we're on to Renee Zelwegar in this movie. I thought that her acting in this movie, you can tell that she did not have her skills too sharpened at this point. She, either that or she's just trained as being a serious actor and not somebody that belongs in a horror movie. There are scenes in this movie where she should have been completely freaked out. Like when she looked out the back of that tow truck window and saw her boyfriend and that other dude hanging in there. Who doesn't freak out at that? She looked at that and turned back around and was overly calm.
Are you letting me go?
You figured out it's your goddamn lie.
I don't understand.
I mean, I know that people should stay calm in stressful situations, but that was a little bit ridiculous. And then later on in the movie, she's trapped in the kitchen. She's got a shotgun on Matthew McConaughey and his brother and Leatherface and Darla. She's holding a shotgun on them. She's in a tremendously stressful situation, and she is as calm as could be. There's no way in the world that anybody in that circumstance would be that calm. Maybe that's a little bit nitpicky for me, but it's Renee Zelwegar. She's a really seasoned actress at this point, and I'm used to seeing a much better performance from her. This was not good. Matthew McConaughey, on the other hand, was the complete opposite end of the spectrum from Renee Zelwegar here.
Welcome to my world.
He was crazy, but his portrayal of this character, Vilmer, was acceptable because he was supposed to be crazy. So he was like batshit nuts in this movie, and he put that on screen pretty well. The thing that I didn't like about his character, really, but it had nothing to do with Matthew McConaughey. This is writing here. The thing I didn't like about him is he had a knee brace on in this movie, much like Leatherface had a knee brace on in the third installment in this franchise. This guy had on a knee brace that was it almost was like hydraulic or bionic in some sort of way. One thing that I found to be very strange is it had a vacuum hose coming off of it and running into the back of his belt. Another thing that was very strange about this leg was that it was operated with batteries and a old like cable box remote control, and there were other remote controls laying all over this place that all seemed to control this guy's bionic knee brace. Pretty stupid. And then there's the last thing that I need to pick apart here. I don't know if this is so much pick apart as much as it is what the hell am I watching? So while they're towards the end of the movie, they're in the house and everybody's there, and all of a sudden some dude comes to the door who looks like a mafia boss. He's got somebody with him. He walks through the door, slick black hair, nice suit on, takes his gloves, hands it to the guy behind him. I'm sure that's supposed to be his bodyguard. He walks in the house, gives Matthew McConaughey a little bit of a hard time, like, what is this? You're here for one reason, so on and so forth. Then he looks at Renee Zelwegar, opens up his shirt. It appears that he's got like hieroglyphics burned into or impressioned into his abdomen, and he's got piercings across his abdomen with like big rings, almost like a door knocker or what you would see in a bull's nose across his stomach. He walks up to Renee Zelwegar and starts licking her all over her face and head. It's weird. It's almost like he's tasting her. And then when he's done doing that, he turns around, slowly walks to the back of the room, bends over and picks up 2 slices of pizza, sits them on the counter, turns around, and walks out the door. What the was that? Another thing that I thought was really weird in this movie is just like the first movie, second movie, and third movie, there's a scene in here where everybody's sitting together at a table, like they're getting ready to have a big family dinner. This time, there are dead people sitting at this table. In the third movie, Grandpa was dead. In this movie, there's 2 dead people, another guy sitting at the head of the table who appears to be a grandpa type figure. They're sitting there, all this other madness and mayhem's going on, and when everybody is distracted, the grandpa character, who appears to be sitting in the chair dead, gets up, picks up a knife, and just walks away. This movie is weird, but a good weird. Alright folks, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. If you like really campy, weird movies, and I bet most of you probably do, give this one a chance. Check this out. It was actually surprisingly entertaining. Alright folks, that is going to do it for my review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you have been enjoying my content, please do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button, and after you click that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a kick-ass day, and thank you for watching.